and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the technical producer for CCP, Alston Ali Ottersson.
Eter, there we go. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the keynote CCP Presents on Fanfest 2009. My name is Ali, and I want to welcome you all here today. Before we get started, I want to kind of see how everybody's going and see if we can make some noise in this room. When I raise my hands, and you might remember this from last year, the ones that were here last year, like this, I want you to applaud as high and as loudly as you can and scream from the top of your lungs and try to make as much noise as you can. Can you do this? Are you ready? All right. And then when I put my hands down, absolute silence. Absolute silence. Not a word. All right, let's try this. You're late. All right. More, come on. All right. The FanFest keynote is, of course, the highlight and amazing. I enjoy it, and it's a privilege and an honor to present on stage my good friend, the CEO of CCP, Hilmar Veigar Pétursson.
Well, here we go again. Well, thank you all for coming. It was quite a trip, I know. As I've talked about before, FanFest is a great moment for CCP where we can address a very large audience of the various stakeholders of CCP. We have people flying in from all our different offices. We have shareholders, we have press, we have partners, we have players, you of course, and now we have in addition 3,000 people watching it's simulcasted on EVE TV. So it's an opportunity to talk about a lot of things that are happening at CCP, and we have prepared quite a program. A lot of people are going to come on and show you what they're doing at CCP, and of course, then it brings the highlight of talking a little bit more about Dust 514. So. On behalf of Iceland, I also want to thank everyone for coming. The tourist industry is having quite a moment here. I am having cab drivers thank me for bringing all these people to Iceland when things are usually a little bit slow this time of year. So again, thank you all for coming. So as you see, we've tried to change it up a little bit for FanFest this year. We've taken in a lot of the feedback. We've gone in from the previous two setups here in Laugardalshöll and have sort of evolved the format. We actually have sheets which are available in the reception. They're sort of feedback sheets, and I strongly encourage you to fill them out so that we can further improve. As we all know, CCP is all about getting feedback and adopting. So if you would fill this out, I would certainly appreciate it, and I can promise a better FanFest for it. We certainly saw 10 o'clock on Thursday morning that we were in for quite a ride. This was at 10 o'clock, like 5 wide lanes on the sign-up. And everything has sort of taken that queue and taken it longer and longer, further and further. The store has more room, a lot of good things to add there. It's great to see people sort of, corporations connecting it together, and of course the CSM. And I'm going to talk about that a little later, and just sort of really seeing people that are EVE friends coming together and celebrating EVE. And I have no idea what's going on here. The seats have been packed out, This was 10:30 on a Friday morning. No, a Friday morning, and like the fact you were able to show up for this in this many matches shows the commitment to seeing it. People are even coming to get married. We should give these guys an applause. Nathan gave them a book. And of course, marriages have been a long-standing tradition at Fanfest. We had a proposal in 2004, we had a merger in 2006, and now we have an actual marriage happening here. A lot of good talks. I personally have not been able to make all of them, but they should all be available, recorded for everyone that missed something. And I love this, having the players being the celebs. I really want this Fanfest to turn more and more about you guys that play the game. And the CSM panel was awesome. I really want to thank the CSM, and I think we'll give them all a great applause. They did awesome. Yeah, we're having a little panel after this, and I would be hard-pressed to stand up to the quality that you, the players of EVE, have really set. And it's like wonderful to have seen this concept now in its third iteration, really bringing the value that we hope it would bring. We're really getting a good, solid feedback, and everyone that were doubtful about this really being able to pull off has certainly been corrected. Love it. And a lot of strange things going on. This live agent stuff, awesome. A lot of great talks from CCPers. And of course, this takes a lot of preparation and a lot of energy to give all these talks. And on top of people's day job. So again, let's give all the wonderful presenters we've had so far a great applause. And we obviously need to work on seating. People are filling out rooms, sitting on floors, and that's something to evolve. PvP Championship, a great tradition. Watched it on stage here at the finals. Awesome stuff. Roundtables, great venue for idea sharing. There's been a lot of good feedback from CCP employees on the roundtable this year. Even the marketing roundtable was filled out. There was only one person there last year. So everything is like leveled up from last year. It's awesome. And it's really that type of feedback which is invaluable to get from you guys that are so hardcore that you fly to Iceland to give it. Alliance panel, definitely want to see more of this, where we put players in the spotlight. And like a lot of people interested in it as well, as you can see in the audience. We have been having various sort of things which have collected money for charity. We had the poker tournament, we had the Battle of the Bands, we have had the silent auction, and I just got the number that Fanfest has raised 1 million ISK for Child's Play. So thank you for that. So, cosplay, it's going to be big. There is Static Zero, who has shown up in costume for the third year in a row, and we're sort of leading up to when we do the sort of full Incarna dust, when it is a part of EVE, then we're sort of seeding in the ideas. Definitely want more cosplay. If you're not up for that, we have been improving our sort of overall lineup of EVE apparel. We just started a partnership with Jinx. So if you go to this URL, jinx.com/EVE, you will be able to see some of the new t-shirts and some of the stuff that we're sort of bringing for those that are not fully secure enough with themselves to be cosplay. Weather, I was a little bit worried yesterday, where the Icelandic weather was showing its claws a little bit, but we've been having a wonderful day. So having this in October rather than November definitely helped improve that situation, and that's great. So a little peek into CCP. This is the slide I sort of have every year, where we show the sort of various metrics on CCP and how they have trended. As you see, we keep on growing in terms of subscribers, which allows us to hire more employees and sort of further fuel the cycle we're running. But of course, it's a little bit of a struggle to build the company at the pace we're building it at. So we constantly work on sort of keeping our culture and let's not sort of turn CCP into something that it's not. And so we spend a lot of energy on that. Usually we do it with themes. I talked about it at last year's Fanfest. In 2007, we had this theme, War on the Impossible, United We're Strong, to sort of unify CCP after a lot of growth there, open up 2 different offices. So we had to sort of bring everyone together under unity. Last year, we were running a theme called More Production, where we focused on sort of building on top of the unity and even more capacity to produce. And we rolled out Enterprise Scrum at the same time, which now everyone at CCP on all projects works under. Ali did a great talk on that yesterday, so definitely catch the recording if you didn't see it. And of course, that was all brought to bear with Apocrypha. And as we talked about last FanFest, we took people from all over CCP focusing on building Apocrypha, and it's obvious the success it has been. You see their growth sort of coming back after a very tough competitive year in 2008. And we saw the build-up and the hype all through the summer. We've dipped a little bit because of the Unholy Rates initiative, where we're really cracking down on the real money traders of EVE to really clean it up. And it was actually surprising to us how many were involved in that. So we're now actively in that and sparing no effort in fully cracking that down. In August, we shifted themes again, and now we have shifted over to excellence. So more production was about doing more features, more output. Now you will see CCP and EVE work more on refining and doing fewer things, but do them really well. So you can expect a lot of the existing things in EVE to be improved, and we've already seen we're doing the mail system totally from scratch again, because I mean, even though it's there, it needs to be refined and sort of put into excellence. And we made this sort of little video to sort of kick off that initiative. That end picture is a face which we constructed by taking the faces of various CCPers and built this Ubermensch out of it. That's what you see. And why is the projector off? It's because of this. Okay, pub crawl. I missed it last night, but I heard it was something else. The stories are crazy. And as you remember, last year we actually ended up by running out of beer last year, and we're totally not going to have that happen this year. So when we saw the attendee numbers, what it was all lining up to, we've been selling extra tickets to the party only, so we're expecting about 2,000 people to show up for it. We thought it was prudent to send Nathan to secure more beer, and in a moment of sacrifice, Nathan agreed to it. And I haven't seen him since, but I got this video, which sort of might explain where he is. And let's play it then.
Captain's log, stardate 031009. It's been 2 weeks, but it's not far now. Still on course to planet Earth with the emergency supplies. I've been feeling quite lonely lately. I feel darkness settling in. Loneliness becomes your companion. Beer becomes your friend. I've been on the lookout for those pirates that ambushed me last week. I think I've lost them for good. Well, I better. I need to charge my lasers. Hal? Hal? Hal, do you read me, Haldor?
Affirmative, Nathan. I read you.
Could you please tell me the current system status, Hal?
I'm sorry, Nathan. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is, just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
Jambon beurre, fromage, putain. La bourse ou la vie?
What? Some kind of ancient dialect. Hal, translate.
Hand over all your delicious cargo, or we will kill you.
Never. I would never give off my cargo. Forget about it.
Escape is futile. Eject your cargo now, and we might let you live.
Never. I will never fail my mission.
Nathan, the enemy has launched missiles.
Hal, initiate evasive maneuvers.
I'm sorry, Nathan. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Whoa.
The ship has been damaged. We are losing alcohol. You will be sober in 3 minutes.
No! Hal! Send out the repair drones!
Hey Nathan, I see you have been able to find some trouble again.
Isn't this like the third time we've had to come save your ass?
Thank you, guys. Thank you. A lot of people are gonna appreciate this. Hal, get us the hell out of here.
Don't worry about it. We'll take care of him.
That was pretty insane, wasn't it? I was floored when I saw it myself. So, welcome to Iceland, welcome to Fanfest again. It's pretty big this time, and I think we're going to have a good time today, and especially tonight, later on. The big picture is something I'm just going to jump through, and then later on we'll bring up a lot of our crews, showing off their stuff. Whoops. There we go. So this is what we're looking at right now as a company, is that the trends around us really going into social networks, going into new platforms. We also consume media every day, everywhere, and we also rely on a lot of people around us to actually share links and so on and so forth. And we think that the EVE universe should simply be able to consumed anywhere that you are. So what we want to do is first, of course, merging concepts, and we can really do that with the EVE universe that we have right now. More celebrity, more communication, and we also have syndicating. So really what you are doing can actually be shared with everybody else. And also looking at multiple mediums, I mean, we want EVE to be experienced on every platform out there. Yes, cross-platforms. And it's also lifestyle choice, like you see that this outfit is not maybe a good representation of it, but I'd like some Kaldari clothes. The product ecosystem is really the point where we actually try to show and stop thinking about EVE as a virtual world, but really a universe. So as you can see here, we really want to expand EVE to all these platforms. But it's also, the first step that we have is really Cosmos. And we talked about this yesterday, and even though you might think about it as Facebook or a certain Facebook application, it's really much more, and it also has in-game functionality, and it's also a springboard for basically every other platform that we have out there. And of course, we want celebrities. I actually bought like fake tits for that outfit. What do you mean? I don't have man boobs anymore. But we also want to connect with friends, and you can see here some good examples of connecting with friends. But also, what we really want to talk about here later today is that Dust 514 is really, again, expanding the EVE universe. This is all the same thing, and there's going to be meaningful interaction between the MMO and the MMO FPS. And of course, they're all joined inside Cosmos, so you're basically joining the same social network. Here's some examples of other platforms that we're thinking about going on. Who said mining wasn't fun? We're also thinking about this one here. Yeah, I thought a lot about that one there, and I'm still not sure. But we also have something cool like this happening here. Physical products, 20 years after CCP and White Wolf merged. We have a lot of history here, and we have a commitment to actually keep on being in terms of physical products. And what you can also really see here is that we want to go into movies one day. We, of course, take inspiration from the best only. And also later on, you'll see that we have already a novel out, and another one coming, and another one coming, and another one. But also the sales numbers that we've gotten for the Empyrean Age is that we have sold 70,000 copies. So there's interest in sci-fi and EVE and fashion. I tried to get a dress, honestly, but they didn't want me to get one. We're going into mobile. And the messaging light client as well. This might probably get merged together, but this is basically the effort of being able to communicate wherever you are with whomever. Just think about, for example, calling with a phone into your court meeting or whatever. I mean, this is all going to be happening. And on a train, that's true. There you see Capsuleer, of course, but I think the iPhone application is really cool. Scandal and subterfuge, we have that. But of course, in the end, what's really going to open up is that we have the API, and that's going to be developed further around Cosmos, because, I mean, we're exposing a lot of stuff from in-game, and that's all going to be available to you. And here's some other examples of that. But onto some more fun stuff. A long time ago, we celebrated 100,000. We actually had a song, and we sang that, and we were really happy. And now we had another internal campaign that we believed that we could reach 300,000. And the number itself doesn't really matter. Well, reaching this means that we have more, like, there's more people in EVE than there is in Iceland, which is kind of nice. And we've actually thought about offering our assistance to the government here. And, like, you know, you have 300,000 people, we have 300,000 people, we have some experience we can share here. But I'm not so sure they want to do that, though. But what this really did is that we made another motivational video for us to, like, drum up the interest for the next goal.
Hello.
Ryan.
Hilmar.
Hey, I just saw the number drop like 5 points.
Yeah.
Are we on this?
Yeah. We've been working all day.
Okay.
Yeah. We're trying hard.
Okay. What about the banner ads?
Yeah. We tried the banner ads.
What about search? Are we on it?
Yeah. Yeah. We're on the search engines.
But Metacritic, I saw we could like raise our rating there. Are we on that?
Yeah. Yeah. The Metacritic score is good.
Okay. We need to get this back. We're talking 5 subscribers here.
I'm doing everything I can, Hilmar. I'm personally looking into it. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
Yes! Ívar, ég var að sjá töluna hækka hérna 15 í einu.
Geðveikt maður.
Við varum að tala high five. Okay, now we have a new goal. It's 600,000. Do you believe it? Let me hear it. I believe. And now for Axel, do you believe? I believe. Guys, we have a new goal. It's 600,000. Do you believe it? I believe. Come on, I believe. I believe. And now for Axel, I believe. I believe. Again. I believe. Yeah. Do you believe it? We believe.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. I spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I can fly. If I just spread my wings, I can fly. I can fly. I can fly. I can fly.
All joking aside, though, this is what we do when we don't make expansion, we make videos of ourselves. No, I think that the main point here is that really we are committed to EVE, and we always have been, and we always will be. We're now 5 times more people working on EVE than we actually were at launch, and we have a good pace of expansion coming out, and we have some pretty amazing stuff that Torvi will show you later around EVE. Sorry? And man boobs, yes, of course. Well, we already have them. It's just a question of like moving it over to another platform, so you can touch them anywhere, everywhere you are, and be part of the man boob universe. The next 2 people we're going to get up here is our CTO and the VP of engineering. They're pretty clever guys. last year, Gabe did his first appearance in Fanfest, and he talked about our servers as hamsters. Made him look really clever. But these guys really enable great things. Like, you know, to achieve stuff like that, you really need to have clever people. And I mean, I wouldn't be able to get a car up in that tree if I didn't have Haldor or Gabe with me. Man boobs as well. They also think outside the box. Nothing can stop these men. And they really are a core of our evolution in our games. And I think that this describes it well. They are kind of like Cthulhu. But, well, this is like two big guys here, and some random guy that is in the picture. Probably doesn't know anything about what's actually happening in front of him. But these two guys are now going to come up, and these are our thought leaders, Gabe and Haldor. That means you. Yeah.
Thank you, Nathan, for that awesome introduction. Fantastic. I'm Gabe Mahoney. This is...
Yeah, I'm Haldor. Okay, you can hear me.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
how
Gabe
we
Mahoney, the VP of
redeem
Engineering,
ourselves.
and this is Haldor.
Yeah, CTO. I don't know how we redeem ourselves after that introduction.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I think we should actually just leave. No?
Huh?
No? Okay. We'll try to do something.
So we're going to talk to you today about technology and what we've done over the past year since the last FanFest. And the focus of this is really investing in the existing technology, making it even better than it is, hardening it, strengthening it, making it faster, and then also inventing new technologies for upcoming titles like Incarna. Last year, I did use the hamster analogy, and
yeah, and we had kind of agreed that we wouldn't mention those this time around, so there should be no hamsters in this presentation.
No hamsters whatsoever, so let's just jump right to it.
Oh, wait a second.
He's so furry. This will be the only hamster in this presentation, I promise, or I'm going to get fired. So we've made massive improvements to the Tranquility cluster in the past year. We've actually refreshed every machine in the cluster. Every Sol node and proxy node has been upgraded. These used to be 2.8 gigahertz machines with 4 gigs of RAM running 32-bit Windows 2003. They're now 3.3 gigahertz machines, 16 gigs of RAM running 64-bit Windows 2008. So just really, really top-notch kit for you guys. Do it for you. We've also upgraded our database storage. We're using a 2 terabyte RamSan 500, which is solid-state storage, and the entire database, all 1.5 terabytes of it, is now running on solid-state storage, so it's just faster than anything out there. We've also upgraded the DB servers themselves from 4-core machines to 12-core machines. So, I mean, this is just a massive investment in technology that has really made the TQ cluster better and faster than it's ever been.
And you might say that in some ways we were buying ourselves time and headroom to work on software optimizations that we really needed to do. So if we move on to the next slide. So some of you might have heard presentations I've given on Destiny. Destiny is essentially our physics simulation. It's kind of the core of your ship simulation in Eve. It was written initially by Dr. Kjartan Pierre Emerson, who has a PhD in chaos physics. He has since been exiled to Shanghai, probably because of his work on Destiny.
I think he went mad,
we were stuck with this system of insanity that we couldn't really control. And we picked out this poor sob to try to solve it. And he came in as 007, had all kinds of problems in the beginning. It took him over a year just to wrap his mind around what was going on in the code. But the outcome was quite impressive. Now, after 1 year of all kinds of experiments, we have solved some plaguing issues that we've had in the game. One of those is the desync, the dreaded desync that you might have heard of. And we announced this recently in a dev blog that this has been fixed. As part of this, we also did a lot of fixes, bumping and other things. And then, because Einar Thor was on a roll, we also threw him onto the inventory system. The inventory system is another part of Eve that's extremely complex. And the reason is just that we're trying to prevent you guys from cheating. So the system has to be really bulletproof. And there's a lot of atomic operations and locks and stuff like that that we have to be very careful of, because otherwise there could be ways of duplicating items and doing other things in a client-server operation. So Einar Thor got the other task of actually optimizing the inventory system. And coupled with the Eve programmers, Nonni and the other guys, they made some amazing advancements there. We switched to a C++ implementation for some of the inventory system. And then actually we did some optimizations on the database side. Now all of this actually yielded incredible performance benefits that we're going to dive into now.
And then after that, Einar Thor took a nice vacation on the beach and relaxed.
Yeah.
It's a handsome man, Einar Thor.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty awesome man boots.
Those are some nice man boots, yes.
So these are the performance improvements that Haldor was talking about. You see stackless I/O there, and that was last year, a big boost to performance. This year, the inventory system, the other changes we made, allowed us to reduce our CPU load per user by 15%, which is just a huge number. And that results in more people in JITA and also snappier performance. And last year, we were able to get 1,100 people in JITA. Now we've got 1,300 plus. So it's getting a little crowded in there. These are largely due to the inventory service changes, and we're hoping this doesn't happen. This is what we don't want to happen.
This was last year.
Yeah. So we are at 1,300 now. We've got a cap in there, so no more than 1,300 people can come in. We're hoping this year to actually remove the cap. We think that the realistic limit for JITA is actually higher than this, maybe 1,400, 1,500. So at some point in time, I may be signing the Eve software group up to something they're not very happy about, but we're going to take the cap off and we're going to see what happens. And it's not going to be this.
So wait, you fixed like desync and the inventory system and JITA?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
That guy did.
Okay.
This is a big year for Einar. This is really awesome. In fact, give this man a round of applause. He deserves it. I don't do it as well.
Yeah. We should also just have everybody try to grab his ass.
No, don't do that. We also put this team together. So the engineering services group is a group of engineers who focus entirely on builds. That's getting our code to be something that's actually usable by you guys, building patches and deploying. These guys did the impossible this year. They got the build time for all of the patches down from 24 hours to under an hour, which is incredible. And it's important to you guys because it means we can actually push patches out to the server much quicker. If there's a problem, we can have less downtime, we can move much more rapidly. And the other thing these guys did, which was pretty awesome, was they made the patching process automated. So previously, it was a manual process with some scripts, but a lot of it was manual. And on patch day, things get very hectic, very confusing, and these poor folks would have to go through and remember, to dot all the I's and cross all the T's. So there have been some problems patch days. You guys might have noticed that. These scripts have fixed it. We're now going to have solid patches, at least from the patching perspective. There may still be the occasional bug in the code, but we're not going to have problems deploying, and we're going to build patches really quickly for you guys. So this is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, and it's important to emphasize that we're nowhere near done. We have this group that made huge advancements, and we're going to continue down that path. One thing that I would like to point out is that we actually have a separate cluster now hosted next to Tranquility that builds the patches and the actual builds and the installs. And that's one of the reasons why we can get the deployment cycle down to an hour from a full 24 hours.
That's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Corification. We actually made this word up. It's not a real word.
No.
But it describes what we're doing very well. This is a really important thing for CCP. It's the basis of our core technology platform. And what that means is we're able to share code between Eve and Incarna. And what that means to both products is that Eve basically gets the benefits of all the new development that we're doing in Incarna. So if we do something for Incarna, let's say in the inventory system, since Eve and Incarna share that code, Eve gets that improvement as well. And likewise, Incarna gets code that's been tested on TQ and is very stable. So both products benefit from this. And this is important for us because it means as a programming team, we can actually work on Incarna and not sort of leave Eve behind.
Mm-hmm. And it's also kind of, well, it's instrumental in doing something like we did for Apocrypha, where we take a lot of engineering teams and put them on one expansion.
Yeah.
So having a shared code base that everybody understands enables that.
Yeah, and not an easy thing. There was 600,000 lines of Python code that all had to be, not necessarily all rewritten, but a lot of it refactored, packaged up, and made shareable. So this is a huge effort.
Yeah, it took us actually a couple of efforts to do this.
Yeah, it was 3 times. We actually had 3 separate attempts at trying to get a third try was a charm, and I was really happy it worked that third time.
Yeah, and going back to what Gabe was saying, it's been interesting that we've been developing new technology in the rendering engine, specifically for Incarna and other future products. And it's really nice to see now that we can just take advantage of these things in Eve. So the reality behind the new fitting screen is actually that we were developing new technology on the graphic side, which is called render jobs, which is a really nice and neat way of constructing render loops from Python, but still having the render loops be extremely efficient. But it does mean that the render loop itself is totally flexible. You can do whatever you want. So the idea came up, okay, let's then render a 3D view within Eve. And then people started thinking, well, that would be great for the fitting window. Those of you that played on Singularity would have noticed that the first incarnation of the fitting window didn't actually have a separate chip in there. It was just trying to use the chip that was already in your space station, in your hangar. And then, of course, people just started running with it. They made the preview window that you can see down in the corner that now allows you to not, when you do show info, you can click on the little eye up in the corner, and now you have a full 3D window. So this is just an example of how new technology that we're developing for future products and for Incarna are backfed and just deployed to you guys as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to talk a little bit about Apocrypha and the graphics improvements that we made there. It does feel like Apocrypha was eons ago, but it actually happened this year. And it was a huge step for us as CCP because we took the old fixed function rendering pipe and basically we sunset that pipeline. We switched to completely shaders. We did implement a shader model 2 path for you because you asked for it. And that was no small undertaking. Switching all this code out, putting the new code in, making the old stuff look like it did before or even better, and having it all run. I would say the most interesting thing about the graphics upgrade we did in Apocrypha is that the quality went up, but performance also increased on most machines. There are still some outlier cases. You have Intel integrated graphics cards on some laptops that will actually perform worse under the new graphics engine, but those are issues that we're actually addressing. And we're addressing them in 2 ways. We're both trying to improve our engine, and we're also trying to get Intel to stop making those chips.
They're listening too.
Yeah,
listen to
they're listening. So I just wanted to, note that this was a huge step for us. We changed a lot of things under the hood. We changed the effects. We're still working now on actually making the effects better. And now you're seeing in Dominion more work on this. You're seeing new planets. You're seeing new stars. So there's a bunch of more stuff that's going to be coming down the pipes, and it's all enabled from this new version of our core technology.
Yeah. And this is a great example, too, because it was technology that was really allowing the artists to go nuts. I mean, the graphics updates for Apocrypha was just really impressive, as you can see here. The artists were just really excited about this new technology that we were folding back into Eve.
Yeah, and you should also feel privileged, or at least unique in the sense that this is the only MMO that's been able to do this.
Yeah.
So, and it's our commitment to you. As your hardware gets better, we should try to make use of it.
Yeah. Yeah, we absolutely do on the server side and on the client, as you can see. And then we're also developing new technology for Incarna to allow us to, right now we've got a graphics engine and game systems that work for an outer space simulation, and that's awesome. But Incarna is going to actually be, a avatar-based technology walking around. You've got a whole different set of problems.
Yes.
And so what we're going to show you now is some technology that we've been building or partnered with a company called Geomerics to build.
Yeah, they're researchers out of Oxford in the UK that have been working on real-time radiosity. And so we've licensed their technology and have now integrated it with the latest builds of Incarna. So we're just going to show you what this means. It's really cool technology because essentially what's happening is that the normal lighting you see in games is called direct lighting, and then people fake radiosity. This is actually no faking. This is actual radiosity happening in real time. So it means that you can have just one light source, and then that light source will bounce all over the room. It will pick up the light that's already on the wall and then bounce that light back. So if you have a green wall lit by a white light, there will actually be a greenish hue on the entire room. And this gives you a really warm, fuzzy look to the interiors. And that's actually something that we're working hard on because we want the look for the space is really crafted in Eve to be a harsh and dark, contrasty look. Partially because that's how space looks, but also because we want to give you that feeling that Eve is a dark and cold place and people can really screw you over, right? So we deliver that through the visuals when you're in space. However, in stations, as we're deploying in Karna, you won't be able to kill people, at least not in the first iterations. So it makes a lot of sense for us to develop a different kind of lighting model. So we want this more of a soft, warmer model, and that's what this technology allows us to do. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a little glimpse of what's happening.
From my perspective, from the less technical perspective, what I notice is that when you turn it off, things look good, it looks great. When you turn on this real-time radiosity, it makes it look incredibly real. Like it's just, you're there. And you don't notice it's missing in other games until you see it turned on, and it just looks gorgeous.
Exactly, and I mean, I should also add, another thing that's really cool about this, it scales well according to your hardware. You can actually run this on a pretty low-end machine, and it works. It just means you won't get as high as a quality as another person that has a crazy beefy machine, but still it actually works. And that's also really important for us because, I mean, we have a big player base and we want to be able to deploy features that most of you can actually enjoy.
We're going to show the cool stuff now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'll demo, you talk.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, you have some cool stuff?
Oh, we have cool stuff.
We should
we
have
always
some
have
cool stuff. Yeah,
hey, we thought about not
wiggle the
one
mouse.
here.
Let's see if we can make this work. Yeah? It should be minimized.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, as you can see, this is Windows 7, so
I see it.
we're working hard on finalizing proper support for Windows 7. It is already working, so if any of you are thinking about upgrading to Windows 7,
nice. Yeah, check this out.
Yeah. Yeah, so what we really wanted to show you there is that, so this already works on Vista, should work on XP, should work on Windows 7. It is becoming easier to do though. Right now we're using Matrox triple head to go to do this. We improved the rendering engine so it can render properly at this kind of a crazy wide screen view. What's really cool about this is you finally see the scale of things in Eve, and you can appreciate the immense detail that we have. You can zoom into the smallest ships and see them. Well, like somebody pointed out, he found a speckle on one of the ships that looked like bird poo.
Yeah.
We're probably Nathan's ship, of course. But, you know, and that's truly awesome. And I think it also shows how the content is really looking forward. We're anticipating better hardware, and you might say that we actually anticipated this revolution happening as well. So the thing is, people have more monitors. So this actually is not so far-fetched that somebody could have this in as their rig. And the other opportunity we have is actually to take the windows now and tear them apart and start splitting things across multiple monitors. Now, we haven't put this out in Eve, but the technology is there, and we're using it in-house. We just have to slot it into an expansion and figure out how we want to do it. Final note is that ATI just launched a card that actually supports this out of the box. So you won't need the triple head for that. So the future is definitely heading in this direction.
How many monitors are we going to have next year?
6.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, mark my words, 6. All right.
All right.
Yeah, you guys deserve beer for that.
Yeah, there will be beer.
Maybe too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah.
See, you will be dealt with beer.
All right, thank you
And
guys
that's
very
it for
much.
us. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Wait. Clicker. I want my red button. Yeah, don't take my clicker. There it is. So, expanding the universe. Eve is up next here, and we're going to take Noah and Torvi, and we're talking about lasers. And I found this serious business picture of Torvi a long time ago. This is when I can't remember what magazine it was, and it's a long time ago. And for some reason, they ended up in this kind of like a aha setup, like trying to be rock stars. And Torvi is here in the front. You see Hilmar there as well. But yeah, this is like an emo band of sorts. So the thought leaders that we're going to have now is we'll have Noah and Torvi tell us what they're going to do now in Rubicon, what we have been doing, and also looking a bit more forward in terms of what we're going to do with Eve. So please welcome Noah and Torvi.
Thank you, Nathan.
Hi.
I don't know what expansion you were talking about, Rubicon.
Oh, fuck.
But it's called Dominion.
We need to stop using those code names all over
We
the
always
place.
change the name like midway into the release, and it drives our very hardworking software and QA engineers crazy because all of the file paths and all of the like expansion and all, and all of our like asset management stuff gets screwed up. But we like it. We are fearless. So in Dominion, we talked about it yesterday. We are introducing a new sovereignty capture system. And I don't know, Noah, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the goal behind it was to remove a lot of the boring, grinding, shooting at bosses, for hours on end, and sort of simplify the mechanics, just down to a system where people knew when they were going to be able to change sovereignty to just simplify.
Did you just say that we were going to make Eve more fun?
Yes.
Yes.
And less grindy.
And also, and also the upgrade system itself. That's going to be more cerebral and more fun. It was pretty much just a big. It was a big clock that went off and went from 1 to 4 and wasn't really.
We want you to live in your space and upgrade your space by doing things in your space, basically. So.
Yes. In-game mail, sorting by date. And improved new player experience tutorials. I guess you probably don't need those anymore, the guys in this auditorium. New in-game browser, planets and stars, and the stars just look awesome. Pirate faction epic arcs, the speedboat missions, firebombers, citadels, make sure that you're moving when they're closing in on you, and the fleet finder. It's going to be
awesome.
Yeah, it is. So, what's on the wish list for the future? There is Incarna, which will allow you to explore the stations with your full-body avatars. You will be able to run your own establishments and actually make money from those. You will track down figures from the offline underworld. And so these are not players. These are actual non-playing characters that you need to track down and engage in illicit activities, maybe immoral as well, and clandestine activities. And you will be able to gamble with real ISK, which will be a lot of fun. And like Gabe and Halldór showed us, we realized that we're not like showing you a lot of application code, we're not showing you a lot of demos this year. The core technology and the game design is being worked on. We just want to show it to you when it's more polished and ready. And it should be cool. So if you want it out sooner, track down Halldór and just give him a big manly hug, but don't hold him for too long, because he has got work to do. Now moving forward, small tech-free, cheap, highly configurable, and losing one won't be the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean, so when we brought out the first Tech 3 ships, we wanted sort of a mid-range to high-end price point. But so for the next set of Tech 3 ships, we want them to be something that a lot more people can experience and get into. So.
Yeah.
Mine. Hello.
I think you have to adjust more than the mic. Tech-free loot. It's always good to capture some good alien technology and try to make use of it. We all remember Starbuck going into the goo. And tech-free loot will generally mean a new generation of modules and components. We don't want to tell you more about it, then otherwise it's just going to be awesome. It's always safe. Formations.
Yay.
I mean, we've been... From the first day we ever did an Eve screenshot, we arranged the ships together and it's a formation, but we just haven't gotten to creating them in-game yet as a mechanic. And that's the thing, we want to create them as a mechanic, not just for pretty pictures, although that's also cool as well. So formations just look awesome, we know. And they may give that your squadron boni, which means many bonuses.
Boni.
And just imagine the large fleet engagement, how even more awesome they're going to be when you just move in with your large formation and you overlook the battlefield.
Tacklers in front, snipers in back, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you know that, it's all guys. It's not just some random NPC AI running in your little squadron. It's all your mates meeting that fleet. It's going to be pretty awesome. So it will add organization to tactical combat. It's going to make it fun. It's pretty awesome. Treaties.
Yeah, treaties. We actually wanted to get treaties in Dominion, but we had to cut it at the last minute because scope.
It's his fault.
Yeah. Oh, no, we decided we run and fix bugs instead of put more stuff in. But, yeah, but you guys are already creating treaties amongst yourselves, and like sort of we always do at CCP, we watch what you do and we try to implement in the game mechanics that help you do what you're already doing. So
exactly. So you as an alliance or a corporation can make a treaty or a contract to corporations and players. So you may allow a gang of noobs to mine in your zero-sec space. You can also give people rights of passage, and what we want to happen with this is basically what's happening already on TQ is that you are letting the plebes, for a lack of a better word, in to use your systems to mine or rat or just go in there and trade, and you will then be making money and skimming off the top.
Right, and it's not just setting standings. It's like you can actually say, you guys are allowed to go in these systems here, and then they'll be blue, but if they're not on the treaties, or if you're not in the same system, then they're not, that sort of thing.
Exactly. So this good, this one. Like a home security system, no touchy. And it's ratting, and you could play different. You could, as someone taking on treaties, you can have treaties with with alliances which are total enemies. And very importantly, you can claim your prima noctis. Now, planetary, not everybody got it. You will look it up on Wikipedia. Ring mining, we want to do this. From the beginning, again, it's just one of those things that's always been there.
Because it's going to look fucking awesome.
Yes. We will introduce new resources, more engaging and interactive, of course, and just rediscover that gold rush feeling, to be hiding, to be searching through a vein, searching for the right vein, traveling through the belt, and you're kind of tracking down. That's perfect, like finding the pink, striking it rich. And it's going to focus a lot on player skill and intuition, which is bad news for the macro miners. I'm sorry.
But wait. Woo. So guys, we made sovereignty gameplay fun. So to balance that out and make it boring again, we added some more mining.
No, see, mining will be fun.
No.
And comet mining. Comets are cool. They come by every now and then. Let's count it down. Comets, actually, the cores of them are like very black bodies. They don't really emit a lot of light, but it's the stuff that comes from them. We may make them richer and more interesting in W space, in whiskey space, as people call it.
Whiskey space.
Yeah, I thought you've been there.
I'm going to take a look again.
So comets may also contain organic compounds, and possibly an alternate release valve to the moon goo to balance out moon mining. And you will have to scoop up the ejaculate from the comets.
Like you do.
Yes. Jovians. I was with this character in Jita earlier this morning. Nobody noticed. So Jovians are evil, and they're uber. They are the harbingers of doom, and they have lead ships. We've had them for a long time. They're just there. They are waiting for the right moment to come out. Sorry, we're just facilitators.
Until they accidentally the whole universe.
Yes. So what's going to happen right after Dominion? Planetary interaction. That's going to be our next big thing. And what does planetary interaction mean? And why planets? So it makes sense as a pod pilot that you want to get your fingers dirty on the planets. There are trillions of people living there, there's money to be made, there's deals to be broken, and people to screw over, and you know, they are yours to play with.
Yes, I had to have a slide about
employees
in here. So, yeah, what we want to do with it, we want it to be, when someone finds out about this new planetary interaction thing and they've never played EVE before, they want to be able to come in the game and actually do it from the get-go. Not something where they're going to have to train up for 6 months and only, like...
Have 4 Titans.
Yeah, and also so that, never mind.
Well, yeah, pretty much. The barrier of entry for interacting with the planet should be low, but the complexity of the gameplay grows as the more you play it. So meaning that it's not just one guy that owns all the planets in Empire. Interacting with planets doesn't necessarily mean owning the entire planet, rather perhaps controlling a district or a region on the planet. When we want to maximize human interaction, and that means that I may own a district and Noah owns another district, and we can actually have some sort of relationship. I'll get into that later, but you know, there would be a symbiotic relationship between us, and we will promote synergy as bosses. And the approach is it's like gardening. You nurture good growth. You're going to go in there, you open up your planetary interaction window or interface, and you like cut out the dead branches, you set some things off, kill the weeds, and you check on it regularly. But it doesn't require you to like be watching it the entire time. You can just log in, do a little planetary stuff, and then leave it, and then check on it, how it has evolved, and what has happened kind of the day after or the week after. So we're not totally cloning Civilization in SimCity, although it's tempting, and those are great games. They're just already out there. We don't have to make them again. But it's the same feel, you know, building just stuff and then seeing, you know, set it off and see what happens in the ant farm.
Can I blow it up?
We'll get to that later.
Oh.
It will have a dark feel to it. And of course, there's no right or wrong in how you are interacting with the planet. It's just...
Yes, we love being morally ambiguous.
Yes. So we built industry academia infrastructure. You can keep the masses subdued with holoreels, and this is a personal fantasy of mine. I want to like set up a mining colony on a horrible planet with terrible gravity and air pressure, and just make life miserable for an unwilling crew of miners. And it's less about like moving particular units, putting a series of mechs there and a series of doctors there, etc. It's more like policies, trade agreements, and diplomacy by other means. So you might want to care for your planet or not, and it's kind of up to you. But if you are polluting, for example, but that's just one example, so I have a district and I'm manufacturing something evil and horrible, and that pollutes Noah's garden next to me. So he may get pissed off as my neighbor. So stuff is going to spill over into neighboring districts, which can be beneficial or it can be off-pissing. And of course, there will be like plebs and people that you have to keep in place that live on your planets and remind them who's boss every now and then. This picture is actually taken here in Iceland a couple of months ago. So you see how the districts could like so you have like some people who are your neighbors, and you're like interacting with these districts, and stuff can be flowing between them. And you could be manufacturing stuff. I could be manufacturing armor plating.
Armor plating.
Yes. And in return, I would give Noah exotic dancers. You know, we could have a trade agreement there.
Or I might hate you.
Yes. But sometimes diplomacy doesn't solve all problems. And that's kind of where, unfortunately, sometimes you have to mute from orbit. But strangely enough, some people like invading districts or countries, ruining their government, but keeping their infrastructure. I have no idea where this paradigm comes from. It's not like, I wonder where that idea came from modern history, from the last 4 years. But you want to keep the infrastructure so you can keep on manufacturing. So that's why you want boots on the ground. But these boots on the ground are not going to be within EVE. You will need to make contracts with people outside of EVE Online, the computer game. That will take care of business for you. More on that later. That's it
No,
from
it's
us
okay.
for now.
We're almost there.
Yes.
We're almost there. Because we're going to thank Noah for coming up as a game designer, but we're also going to get on stage Atli from the Dust team. Please welcome Atli to the stage. Again, we're going over the EVE universe, and a long time ago, we showed this at Fanfest. So, yes, this is my total health death expansion, finally. But I still can... No. But the thing is that a lot of things have happened since we saw that video being made, and actually we showed a new one. Here's the team from China that are working on Dust. And then we did this a couple of months ago. You have probably not seen this, but except making it through shaky cam, but let's get some audio up here and shake the room.
Can we dim the lights on the stage?
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore.
It's awesome.
So our thought leader joining us on the stage right now is Atli, and he lives in Shanghai and works on Dust. And Torvi here will go through this with him as well. But you can have a clicker then. No?
No.
Back. And now we switch over to Atli's computer.
Hi. Dust is a first of its kind. There have been other MMO FPSs, but we do believe, truly believe, that this is the first meaningful, proper take on it. Expanding the EVE universe is obviously a good thing for us all, and getting, tapping into that console market where there's millions of FPS gamers cannot be bad. Now, with Dust, we graduate from persistent worlds to persistent universes, where actions of both Dust and EVE players resonate throughout both communities.
You?
Sorry. So Eve and Dust are going to be connected together. We will use the phased implementation, meaning at launch there will be a particular link, and as the games both evolve, we will make the links more deep and more meaningful.
Exactly. Dust is a catalyst for change.
Absolutely.
The districts that Torvi talked about, this is really the battlefield in Dust. Not all of them. Some of them are actually for the Dust players. We call this the theater of war. This is where Dust players interact with the galaxy, with Eve players and so on, also through other means. Dust players can take control of a subset of a planet. These districts we call staging areas. This is where Eve players, they can contract out, or they can, let's say, strike allegiance with a Dust Corp to get a cheaper access to the planet when they want to attack it. So they have some form of incentive to work together.
Exactly, and the systems work actually quite well together, and they're quite, we mentioned this before, if a zombie plague would accidentally wipe out the entire population of Eve players, Dust would still work. Also, if all of the Dust players would be situated in one particular place on planet Earth, and an asteroid would hit them and wipe all of them out, Eve would still work perfectly. We're designing the systems so that they are synergistic, they work really well with each other, but the gameplay, the mechanics in each game work perfectly without relying, like heavy reliance on each other. But it just becomes much more interesting and meaningful as the two games interact.
It's entirely up to the Eve players how far they want to go with this link. If you don't want to use the mercs, you don't have to, but if your enemy does, you kind of have to, but we'll see.
If he has a strategic advantage,
exactly.
You
and
want
he
that
will
advantage
have.
as well.
Now, on to Dust. One of the key aspects or innovations in Dust's gameplay are the dynamic battlefields. We put control of spawn points, of vehicles, of any kind of tactical objective into the hands of the players. The command hierarchy with a commander, squadron leaders, and infantry is essential to the gameplay. Commanders deploy down installations, ad hoc installations, wherever they have tactical intelligence. They breach through the fog of war using various mechanics. These installations are the spawn points. Commander deployed, a player. Now, unlike Battlefield and other games where you have to shoot your friend to get a vehicle, you can order in a vehicle from wherever you are, provided that you have enough war points. Whenever you kill or shoot people in the face, like Torvi likes to say, or blow shit up or capture something, you accrue war points. These war points you can purchase bigger and bigger vehicles. The commander can order in or upgrade bigger and bigger installations, or even deploy a nuke, if so ordered by an Eve player.
Yes. It's the only way to be sure.
Yes. Vehicle fitting is a big aspect of Dust. Players, they define their own roles. We don't have classes like medics or snipers or whatever. You guys come up with it, or the Dust community. You have modules and weapons and all kinds of stuff, just like in Eve. Some of them are even named similar names, and the math and stuff is similar. Yes. Now, Dust players, they purchase stuff off a marketplace. This comes in the form of booster packs, kind of like CCGs. You purchase a booster pack, you get a bunch of blueprints. Now, to get better and better booster packs, you need to have achieved a lot in the game. You kind of advance that way. We don't have skilling and stuff.
So
alliances and corporations, huh?
So I can't buy win.
You cannot buy win. You have to absolutely work for it.
Yes.
Now, Dust corporations and Eve corporations can belong to the same alliance. This is really important.
That's actually very cool, that through New Eden, both the Dust players and the Eve players are going to communicate, and they're going to form their alliances and manage their relationships. We haven't exactly ironed out how we will go about managing the contracts, etc. That will probably be in-game as well. But it's the same world. It's the same.
One universe.
It's not the same game, almost. You just have to think of
It's
it.
not a computer game.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
We totally are, like, you know, sharding, splitting up worlds, making things. No, this happens in the past. No, this game happens in the future. We're not into that. We want to bring everybody together, maximize human interaction so that people can have meaningful and entertaining gameplay together.
Exactly. That's all.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
So that presentation was actually shown in printing.
Using new technology.
Yes. So what's happening here, Atli?
We are gonna secure this outpost. This is a Kaldari outpost, incarceration themed, which means that they have some slaves and stuff. No, prisoners.
Yes.
Making drugs.
So it's infested with Galente scum.
It is infested with Galente scum. Some Galente corporation has taken it over and we're winning it back. I'm actually Galente. I'm a mercenary. I fight for anyone that is willing to pay.
And that's an important point, that
Exactly.
they are mercenaries. You are mercenary corps.
Okay.
So these are all bots then?
No, these are real players.
Which are all sitting behind that tent.
Over there.
Right there, yes. Very good.
All right. Wait a minute, I have to kill a tank.
It's not a tank.
A tank. It's an HAV, heavy attack vehicle. We have 10 vehicle classes. 8 of them are planned for launch.
Nasty ammo.
Shit. Thank you.
So what's this? What's this interface?
This is a prototype interface. This is the overview map. I'm now going to spawn in at the installation. Here we have some sensor boosters and a capacitor and some stuff.
And these were installed by your commander?
Exactly. And he is here, the mobile command center.
And you want to protect him?
Yes. This is mine. What? Let's order in a vehicle. It's my friend. Ordering in a vehicle with an RVD unit.
Okay. So a parachute wasn't enough?
That's so 1940s. The thing is, we haven't. The Kaldari LAV is at the shop, so I'm using the Galente one, but that's.
And that's a weapon. That's on the back of it, right?
This phallus-shaped object, yes. It's a big gun.
Very manly.
Very manly. It's compensating. It's a Galente thing. Shit. No. Okay, I'm gonna go try to hack the mainframe. It's in the middle of the cluster, or this outpost.
And what does the mainframe do?
It's essentially a computer that controls all energy in the outpost. And my MCC requires this energy. It loses its shields, kind of like a POS.
So it's kind of like Han Solo on the planet of Moon of Endor.
Yes.
Without the Ewoks.
I am your father, Luke.
I recommend a headshot.
Right. See? He be dead. Right. In here, mainframe, as you can clearly read.
So now you're initiating the hack.
Yeah.
Like that scene in Swordfish.
Yes. And see that green blob?
Yes.
Now it's hacked.
Ah.
Now, my commander, who's over there, should be able to dock the MCC to get some fuel. But the thing is, the enemy and us, we've deployed these installations, and they will probably start firing at it because they're within range, I think. Yes.
So this one is ours?
Yeah, this one are player controlled. It's about 300 meters.
There are many like it.
Yes, but this one is mine.
We have to finish the demo.
Alright. Cancel it. Let's order in another vehicle.
And you order in the vehicles using the war points?
Yes. Except I rigged this game.
There's points.
I really like this ship.
So wait, like, unlike in some certain other games, you can actually just get everything flown to you directly. You don't have to walk half an hour to
exactly
find out that somebody steals your helicopter.
This is planetary flight.
This is finally! Woo! Whoa! Let's get another one. Yeah, check it out.
So what are
this is a fully tricked out installation. This you won't have until maybe 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes into the match.
Okay, so you're pumping missiles into the enemy
Yes.
war barge.
So let's see how it does.
What? So awesome.
They're taking out the installation. This is a nanite injector. This is how I heal myself. Okay. I win. Hey. Welcome to my war barge.
Ah.
It is long.
There's many like it. This is pretty awesome. So what are the monitors showing?
This is the lobby. So whenever, even if you use quick match or instant gratification button, or if you're fighting for your own corporation, before a match you're put into this lobby. We display each team, whichever team those are, on these side panels, and then whatever your commander is committing to the match on the middle one. Let's say that your commander chooses to have, 2 aerial type vehicles and 2 heavy vehicles and 1 really fast one or something. You will see that there as he is doing this. You don't have guns, but you do have bunny hopping. And then we have, so the war barge is a spaceship owned by Dust corporations. It is extremely expensive and stuff, just like spaceships should be. This is how they attack each other. They need to move it on the star map. If you want to attack planet A, you need to move your war barge into orbit and deploy from there.
Needless to say, they of course are working within the same space as Eve, and that planet that you were showing looked very familiar, because it's the same planet we were watching yesterday for Eve.
It is one universe. Anyways, you have chill out areas in this war barge. Mercenaries can even rent apartments, well, cupboards to begin with, and they get some money and stuff. And then they can finally get a room with a view. And this is the MCC staging area, where you have all kinds of activity, kind of like the Eve hangar, but you know, with
this is
open
more
doors.
awesome.
Renovation. And oh yeah, cool thing. Trophy rooms. Obviously, you want to show off to your friends that you've achieved a lot of shit and stuff. So you can record those. If you kill the top guy at the leaderboard or something, or your arch enemy or your friend, betray your friends, you can commit those into these slots.
So you put your trophies in there.
Trophies in there.
And you have trophy wives.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can, they start bickering.
Have them on display.
And you can invite your friends in there and stuff like that. It's really cool. Oh, here's the outside of the warbird.
So what else can you do in the elevator?
I can show you.
Huh?
No, I mean, this is fucking awesome. Sorry, I didn't say that, Valerie.
Profanity.
Oh, don't worry about that. It usually ends up being myself that get killed. So I think this is, and I really hope that this has given you more insight into how Dust and Eve actually connect to each other, and we have a lot of feelings, pleasurable feelings about everything that can be done here, and I think that
we find it deeply on-turning.
Deeply on-turning. And I think that over time now you will really start to see the entire scope of what Dust is and what Eve is and the interaction in between the two, and that they are really contributing meaningfully towards each other, and that this is no gimmick, this is the real thing. Thank you guys. I think we should move on. I could use a beer actually
Just
myself.
A big hand for the Dust team.
But yes, a big hand for the Dust team. Thank you, guys.
My fake laptop.
We switch back to the presentation now. And next on stage is Hilmar again. And he'll be wrapping it up. And then, of course, we have the panel afterwards, which we can ask some questions and we can give some answers to, I hope.
That to me.
Yeah. Don't press the red button.
Before we go
Thank you very much.
Before we go into wrap-up mode, I really want to call the Dust team on stage here. Come on, guys. These guys have been like really killing it in putting all of this together. Ashley, come back. And we have here Elijah Friedman and the team. So they flew all the way here from China. To put on this thing. Really awesome. Okay, thank you. And of course, we really wanted to show this first in detail to you guys because this would not be possible if it wasn't for all of you. Like really connecting a console shooter into Eve only makes sense because of you. It is you, the 300,000, or as this guy said it, this is we have sort of been watching the forums and seeing what both the sort of console first-person shooter community is saying and also what you guys are saying. And that part of the quote, now I get to be a mercenary squad who conquers planets on the payroll of huge space corporations run by strategists on computers. That is fucking awesome. This is the future of games. And it would really be pointless to do this without all of you, so we really wanted to do the deep dive here. We only did a brief announcement of this in Cologne in Germany, and saw the sort of feedback from the various segments of the industry from that. We've also been watching very carefully what you guys think about it, and I think I could boil it down to this. And it's something to think about, even though that we've seen there's a correlation between Eve players and shooter fans. then we really are trying to create an experience in the Eve world for all the people there that just didn't make it on top of the learning cliff. Of course, you guys already made it. You are quite the elite. So we're really trying to focus this game on all the people that were interested in Eve. They went and tried it, but they could not get into it. Maybe because it just wasn't their style of a game, but they definitely like the overall concept of Eve. And I think by this, we're able to expand our universe much more than we are, and still doing that without compromising the core of the Eve experience. Because, I mean, we're very sensitive to dumbing down Eve, because you like it as it is. But we want to find something to address this huge audience of people that tried Eve, but sort of didn't really feel it as their style of a game. So bringing these two together, of course, is something that we are very carefully thinking about, how the games are connected enough to add value to each other without introducing the risk of this guy coming and ruining it all. Because Eve, of course, is its one giant sandcastle, which we have been spending six years together to build, and we're being very careful in making sure that the games add value to each other, but they're not code-dependent on each other. They will work perfectly fine alone, but they're going to be meaningfully connected so that we add this extra level of content. Of course, it's really because it is this one universe, and it's interesting to see already that not only are we foreseeing alliances that are going to have treaties amongst themselves across the two different games, but we're also going to have, and we already have, alliances and corporations being formed that span the both games. And I think that really will be the meaningful connection between them. It's connecting the people while being very careful about how much of the different economies we connect together. You can ask us in detail about this on the panel after this, and we'll sort of go more into that. So Dust is this console game. It's a first-person shooter with real-time strategy elements. It actually is its own MMO. There is persistent character advancement, and there's a lot of persistency element in it, so it stands on its own as an MMO. And then it's connected to EVE Online, another MMO. This sounds ridiculous. Like, who would ever think of this? And it's really inspired by this guy, Reynir Harðarson, who founded CCP. And as he said in this quote, where I found this silly picture of him, and which I constantly show to make fun of him, because I love him. Venturing on a project so massive in scope, so unprecedented and unproven in so many ways, is either done by madmen or idiots. We were probably both. And there he's just talking about EVE Online. And when he said it, this was basically EVE Online. This is the first version of EVE that we got running. This is from June 2000. And it's amazing how this little seed has turned into this ecosystem of awesomeness, like just by being fearless and believing that you can do it. And that we will do. Because it's all about you. You really constantly inspire us to go on and on. I've always been counting up this number, how much energy has been spent into EVE, and it's now up to 430,000 man-years that have gone into it. The Great Pyramid was built in 250, so we're almost done with 2. And it's really like, as you guys keep on sort of showing us, coming to Fanfest, inspiring us, that really will keep it going. And we, sort of the employees of CCP, being this inspired, working for a company that does crazy things, they tend to like come up with some crazy things themselves. Most of the videos you saw here are just created by sort of a grassroots initiatives at the company. And it went a little bit far this August when we did the kickoff on excellence. As Noah so eloquently said it earlier, less features, more work on bugs, that is excellence. And so the employees of CCP took it upon themselves to write a rap song. So they wrote a rap song, they play all the instruments, they do all the video recording, And all the acting in the videos, or everything that you see there is all CCP. And I was going to leave you with that video. And then we turn over to the panel when this is done. So if we could now cue the video and dim the lights.
As we go, a little something like this.
Harden the fuck up. First off, let me make a short introduction. I'm the Space 5-0, keeping Eve from destruction. Guard is the name, lead master of the game, top dog in the Game Master Hall of Fame. I'm chilling at my desk with 2 girls and 1 pickup, sipping champagne, reading mails, checking what's up. It's spamming scumbags, disturbing the peace. Whoop whoop, it's the sound of the space police. Every day is a fight, there's no room for bloopers. Bugs coming at us like in Starship Troopers. We help when we can, every child, every man. Treat the boogeyman to a permanent ban. We're CCP, we march on fearlessly. Excellent is what we strive to be. If you're going to follow us to the top, harden the fuck up. We're CCP, we march on fearlessly. Excellent is what we strive to be. If you're going to follow us to the top, harden the fuck up.
You best watch out, bitch. If you're an expert, this camera gun will get you in the face with this big bad hammer. Remove all your ears, throw your ass in the slammer. Make you share a cell with a manic-isk spammer.
Like a never-ending spam threat on racist biking. This song has something for everyone's liking. Holy shit, I see locals spiking. Ladies and gents, it's Techno Viking. CCP, we march on fearlessly. Excellent is what we strive to be. If you're going to follow us to the top, harden the fuck up. We're CCP, we march on fearlessly. Excellent is what we strive to be. If you're going to follow us to the top, harden the fuck up. Never flowing, never standing still. We roll with the punches, moving for the kill. The competition ends up 6 feet in the ground. With fists full of awesome, we go round after round. United we stand, never ever growing weary. We cannot fall, cause gravity is just a theory. We reach higher than the giants in operations. Patience, soon we'll be crip-walking in stations. We're more agile than a president, dodging a shoe. We need 3 continents for our massive crew. From Atlanta to Shanghai to the Icelandic nation. Throw your hands up for world domination. We're CCP, we march on fearlessly. Excellent is what we strive to be. If you're going to follow us to the top, harden the fuck up. We're CCP, we march on fearlessly. Excellent is what we strive to be. If you're going to follow us to the top, harden the fuck up. We're CCP, we march on fearlessly. Excellent is what we strive to be. If you're going to follow us to the top, harden the fuck up. We're CCP, we march on fearlessly. Excellent is what we strive to be. If you're going to follow us to the top, harden the fuck up.
The panel and get us started so you can ask us how crazy exactly we are. There are these posters which you can pick up there by the sides. There isn't enough of them, so you don't have to rush, but you can pick up this poster. You can come home and say, I went to Fanfest and all I got was this poster. And I don't even know which way it turns. So it's Nathan here flying his beer ship. And there you are. Thank you guys. We'll probably require 10-15 minutes to do the... and Ali has some announcements.
Yes. Thank you.